What's going on, man?
Better than I deserve is what's going on, even though that's not really a fully accurate answer to your question.
What's up? You sick? You all right?
No, better than I deserve.
You better than
You asked the wrong question. Is what happened.
I
I had it all prepped in my mind.
Really?
Better than I deserve, and you said, "What's going on?"
Oh,
Should have said, "How are you?"
that's well. How are you? Better than you deserve.
I'm better than I deserve.
That's what's up.
There
Good
we
to hear
go.
that, man. Good to hear that. Well, article like this, what we're about to dive into, it makes me or reminds me that I am very better than I deserve as well, especially getting a chance to have my freedoms and liberties, because clapping and shouting has been banned at concerts in South Korea. Just to add to that, the K-pop pop group sensation BTS will return to the stage at some point this week, but fans can't clap or shout. And this is what the culture has arrived to right now. So what are your thoughts on this?
I would argue to say that that is the culture. What really happens is that government officials or powers that be, maybe we'll call them, at this point, really just make up stuff. Like, somebody please give me an article that says anything about clapping that is going to have any impact on any disease whatsoever. Like, how does it even have to make sense? Like, it would have been nice. I see more people starting to say things like this of like, all right, this just doesn't make sense. Like, for instance, with Kyrie Irving, about how he can be in the building of the Knicks, or I'm sorry, the Nets, but he can't like be on the court and all this stuff. And people are like, okay, like this just doesn't make sense. It would have been nice, I'm going on a little rant, if you guys had, not you guys, I don't want to point fingers, but if people could have just used their own critical thinking a year ago to arrive at these conclusions. Now that it's more popular to say that, hey, this doesn't make sense, more people are jumping on the bandwagon, which is great. It is great. But it would have been nice, because it's not like the science changed. It didn't change.
Right.
Nothing changed. It's just that there's midterms coming up, and people recognize that a lot of things were very unpopular.
Right.
So they stopped doing them. Just being honest. So the clapping ban in South Korea for these music concerts, and by the way, there was some different bans for concerts earlier. What was that? It was about a year ago. There was some of these different bans for concerts. Didn't have to make a lick of sense. And people just went along with them. Stop going along with stuff that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Especially when it has, like this one, I guess, you could technically say, hey, you don't have to come to the concert. Like, you're coming here just voluntarily. But especially in instances where somebody's job is on the line, or somebody's life is about to be uprooted from them, because we think that, oh, this is a chill time, it's about to be summer in the United States or wherever you guys are watching. There's these ebbs and flows and up and downs with this whole thing. All it takes is some talking head on a news media to convince everybody that they should just, if you don't go into a panic like I'm going into, then you're a terrible person. And all they have to do is shout at you and they get their minions behind them to shout at you for the stupidest reasons ever. Yeah. So look, I don't want it to get to that again. That's why I'm speaking in stronger terms today. I can just see it though. Because I was looking at the stocks this morning. I could see Moderna creeping up, and then the one that flows with it, BNTX is the ticker symbol. None of this is financial advice, by the way. But they were creeping up today. It's the 14th. It's Pi Day at the time of the taping. Typically, sometimes it just shoots up and then shoots back down. But if you don't think that those are connected, of like people making their buck off of a lot of this at some point, not to say that the medicine has not helped a lot of people, just a side note, I wonder if we say the medicine, they still have their disclaimer at the bottom of the videos.
That's crazy.
But yeah, not saying it hasn't helped anyone. Obviously, I think it's helped a lot of people. But look, if there's just a heavy influence,
Yeah.
in the media and a lot of other places about corporations having too much power inside of politics, which I've said this before, but it's still very odd that the same people who were against corporate interest in politics like just batted a blind eye over the last 6 months or year. But anyway,
why do you think that is, though?
I think it's groupthink is one of them. About if people don't like to be called names is one of the big reasons. So if you get enough people, like you start with the lackeys in the media, and if you don't want to be called a lackey, then don't be a lackey. Like you don't have to just repeat whatever comes out of your mouth for a paycheck. I mean, some of them make a good bit of money, but some you don't even make all that much when you look at it. Like you really just had to repeat this, and you couldn't get a job making the same amount somewhere else. Like you didn't make that much money. So that's one part of it. But then so that comes out from the media, and then people watching the media who also don't like to be called names, and a lot of times you're not acting like you have a backbone. You just go along to get along. So I don't want to be called this name. So I'd rather not say anything than be called a name. I'd rather go along with whatever somebody's telling me to do than be called a name. Or even say anything like, hey, I found these other resources. These are actually making a lot more sense. And, like somebody can make a meme about how, hey, if you do your own research, you're stupid. Or some argument that a high schooler would come up with. Like, okay, so this person is yelling at you about their opinion. So what? Who cares? I thought we were adults. Like, there we go.
Yep.
That's why I believe that stuff happened.
Good stuff.